All right, welcome back to another episode of the Heads Up podcast. So, as you can clearly see, I am not at a poker table. That's because our current poker table had technical difficulties. It's being worked on right now. Should be back up and running for the next episode. However, we're doing a special episode today. We're going to be doing a top 10 ranking of the greatest heads-up poker matches of all time. And we're going to be looking back at the decades, and I'm going to be doing this. This is my personal ranking. And these are matchups. I mean, we can do PLO, heads up. Like, these are just things that I believe are the greatest of all time. So to start off with number 10, we're going to go back to a scene that was glorified in a movie. It's going to be Johnny Chan versus Eric Seidel in the 1988 World Series. I'm going to show a clip and let you guys be the judge, but this heads-up battle was really like the first that was popularized by television.
Is the flop. Johnny Chan bets 40,000. Will Eric Seidel be aggressive again? You bet. He calls the 40, and he raises 50. So it's $50,000 to Chan to stay in this hand. The flop, queen, 8, 10, once again. Johnny Chan will take his time, figuring out the odds for all possible combinations. Remember, 2 more cards to come, 4th Street and 5th Street. And Chan will put in the 50,000. So the pot is right. And now, as 4th Street comes up a 2 of spades, let's reveal the hole cards of both players. Johnny Chan, Jack 9, and Eric Seidel, Queen 7. Johnny Chan had a straight on the flop. Eric Seidel with a pair of queens. Eric Seidel cannot win this hand, and yet he doesn't know it. Chan is trying to sucker him in by taking his time. Oh, look at that look of the defending champ. And now 5th Street, a 6 of diamonds, no help. Johnny Chan has a queen high straight. Will Eric Seidel fall for the bait? Yes, he's going all in, and Chan has him. Johnny Chan, the master, turns over his card, and once again, Johnny Chan has done it. And for Eric Seidel, he can only look and wonder what might have been. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk.
Waiting for the perfect moment to trap Seidel, and he got his opportunity based on Seidel's play. So that was number 10. Number 9 on the list is one of the greatest female performances, Vanessa Selbst in the PCA High Roller. She absolutely dominated.
And he likes it. Raises to 125,000. Ace queen for Vanessa.
Oh boy, looks like Vlad's gonna double up again. Vanessa really taking her time here. Maybe trying to decide whether to shove now, whether to just put in another bet. But I'd say 95% of the time, it is all going in here.
One thing is for sure, there is a re-raise coming. And that is 290,000.
And it looks like both these players think they need to take their time, but honestly, Vlad could blast his chips off faster than Sputnik, and Vanessa would still get it in.
Troyanovsky deciding now whether to shove. 4-bet small to induce. He goes for the latter option, 550,000.
All in.
Vanessa shoves.
Call.
Troyanovsky calls.
Vlad is in a great spot to double up. Vanessa does have 3 outs, though.
28% equity. A 28% chance of winning the tournament on this hand.
Yeah, but a 72% chance that we play on.
Ace.
A polite request. Very specific requests from the rail, but it's an 8-deuce-deuce flop. It's looking good for the kings.
Double him up every time.
Vanessa drawing to 3 outs. Troyanovsky set for the double up.
Vlad loses no equity on the turn. He just has to fade one more card.
And the river.
River card, please.
It's an ace! That's it, it's over! Vanessa Selbst has won!
Wow.
Very well played, Matt. You can't beat me when I'm running like that. I hit every hand. You can't beat me. You played really well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'd rather be lucky than good. Really well played, man.
Troyanovsky loses to a 3-outer, and Vanessa Selbst claims the final title of PCA 10.
What I love about Vanessa's play there is, like, obviously Igor was very calculated. She kind of used this exploitative GTO strategy, and she absolutely just, like, nailed it during the heads-up match and had a 4-1 lead. So, number 8, I'm going to jump into it fast here. Phil Ivey versus Marcel Luske. WSOP 2500 PLO. This is Phil Ivey's first bracelet, but the thing is like, this was a stacked final table. Ivey outdueled Marcel Luske, and Phil Hellmuth was at the final table. There was another super great player at the freaking final table. So for his first bracelet to get, you know, just that absolute final table dominance and go heads up with Marcel, like, I can't believe that this, like, heads up, like, this kind of solidified the what word am I looking for here? This solidified his standing as, like, a great generational player for Phil Ivey. That's for lack of better terms. I couldn't find the word I was looking for there, but I mean, dude's a legend in all the mixed games, Hold'em. Like, to have that crowd at your final. Oh, Amarillo Slim was at the final table. That's who I was like. So I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest freaking lineups, is stacked. Number 7, we're going more recent, 2020. Phil Galfond takes on Vinny Vidi 1993 in a Galfond challenge. And what's great about this is, like, it was over the course of, like, thousands of hands. And Galfond was down 900,000.
We have to remember that this is a single race spot, so many hands that outright dominate Phil's range are not in Vinny's range. So most likely Phil has odds to call versus Vinny. And here we clearly see that he has odds to call versus this specific hand, but the EV of calling is not going to be significantly higher than folding, which of course is 0. Phil makes the call, and we see a queen on the river. All of the flush draws missed, all of the small straights missed. The only thing that this queen brings is a Broadway straight. And of course, Phil is going to have quite a few of these by now with king, queen, jack with clubs or spades types of hand. Vinny checks his 2 pair, and it's definitely a good decision. He can induce a lot of bluffs from Phil here, and check calling is most likely the most profitable line here. Phil goes all in, and it's perfectly fine. I mean, he has what probably is the worst hand he ever has here, so who can blame him for that? And Vinny does make a good call. So overall in this hand, we see that Phil has made possibly a suboptimal decision on the turn, and things just escalated from there. But that being said, all of his plays in the hand made sense. It's interesting to note that this is the only hand that Vinny won out of the 5 biggest pots they've played so far. Yeah, it's the largest of them all, but still. So it's 3 for Phil, 1 for Vinny, and 1 split. Yet after 15 days of play, Phil is losing over 900,000 euro. First of all, the 10,000 hands that they've played so far is not a sample from which we could make any objective conclusions. Variance in heads-up PLO is significant, but I want to remind you something that this challenge illustrates nicely so far. It's not about the big pots. Too many people spend too much time analyzing their biggest pots, hoping to learn something important from those, but while doing so, neglect areas of...
What's insane about that is Phil Galfond almost quit that match, being down 900,000 pounds. And it's insane that he came back and did it. So, number 6, Doug Polk versus Daniel Negreanu. Online heads-up challenge. They played 25,000 hands, and this is in 2021. I'll let you listen to Doug Polk's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think this hand really kind of plays itself. And we jam, yell fold a few times, get one through. And that's also
One of
why
the
it's
more
important
insane
to
hands
sometimes
here.
look to value bet thin in the triple spot, because you want to create space for yourself to be able to make plays like this as well. You're not going to be able to do that if you're not also looking to value bet appropriately with your better hands. And here we go, the largest pot that has been played in the challenge thus far. It was actually one from, I think, the first session. I want to say it was the first online session. Open, we 3-bet with the pocket aces. He does decide to make the call. And we have an 8-8-5 flop. So 8-8 paired flops are kind of weird in 3-bet pots. Basically, there are a couple different kinds of paired flops. There are paired flops where the small blind has a lot of trips, and then there are ones where they don't. And this board kind of looks like he would, right? But he kind of doesn't. A lot of offsuit eights can't call the 3-bet. Um, so it's not a board that the small blind actually has that many good hands on. You could have ace-8, you can have a bunch of suited eights, but suited combos aren't really that many combos, and he's going to have to call hands like Jack 10, Queen 10, Queen Jack, King 10, a bunch of ace X hands. So this is not a board that you want to be playing too conservatively on. As you get deeper, you need to work in some more checks, but it's a board you're certainly going to be looking to find some c-bets on as well. We decide to go for half pot. Negreanu calls. And this is where things get a little spicy. We turn the nut boat. Obviously, quad still beats us. So the situation on the turn, I saw some other people analyze this hand too, and I thought all of that analysis was good. If you're going to trap an overpair on the turn, it's really you're going to trap this overpair specifically, because having the ace of hearts means he can't have the nut flush draw, which is always going to call turn. Nut flush draw isn't calling turn because it loves its flush draw. It's calling turn because it's very far ahead of the bluffs. It just simply has to call turn. So you don't really want to barrel with the ace of hearts. We need no protection. Obviously, all of the lower pairs, overpairs, prefer betting over this one. So if this hand is, if you're going to trap in this spot, it's going to be a trap with this hand. But it's not always a trap, and that's the thing. Like in these situations, just because the main line is a check, it doesn't mean that you don't also want to sometimes be betting. The trick, of course, as a human being is figuring out in the session what frequency am I doing both, right? Did I trap enough on the turn here? Only I'll ever know that. But you do need to be mixing between both options in some of these situations, and also recognizing that this hand is the best overpair to trap really on the turn. In fact, I mean, this hand is better to trap than an 8, because when you have an 8, you don't block any of the ace high hands that can be calling, or the pair hands that can be calling. So when you have an 8, he's not going to be betting as often when you check, right? Because he can have an ace high that wants to show down. But when you have aces, he's way less likely to have ace high. And whether he has a bluff or a lower pair or an 8, obviously you're going to get stacked. But regardless, he's going to be betting much more often when you do decide to check. All those things said, this is still a bet sometimes, and the size you want to bet in this spot is very large. And I think that this kind of makes sense. Like, look, if you have an 8, you have an 8. It's just simple. You have an 8, I'm getting stacked. That's just the way this game works. If people hit quads when you have aces, you get stacked. Just kind of the name of the game. So the question is, how do I play by range the best knowing that? And large sizes are great here, because if he does have a hand like ace high or a 5, or even like maybe a king high like king queen if he wants to float that, maybe king jack of hearts, things like that, the size that really puts him in a tough spot is a big one. Because if he has those hands, he realizes, oh, Doug's saying he's got, nines plus. Doug's saying he has nines plus here. And, he does a lot of the time have those hands. But he can also be bluffing. He can have a hand like 10-9 or Jack 10 or, ace deuce suited, or, king 6 suited, or, there's a bunch of other hands that might want to decide to bluff here as well. So essentially, when I bet this turn, by using a big size, I get to bluff more, and I also allow myself room to win stacks when I have these overpairs that are going to want to try to win stacks. We decide to bet the full size of the pot. He calls, and the river is a 9. Again, I think if you were going to trap a hand, maybe this would make sense. I don't love it on the river. I think the turn, it makes sense to do some checking. On the river, if you're going to trap something, this does make sense once in a while. But usually once you use a big size on the turn, you kind of want to keep firing. And it makes more sense to trap with a hand like, let's say you had the 10-9 or the 9-7 or the, hands like that probably make a little more sense to trap. We do jam pot, he calls, and he had the 9-7 of clubs. And this hand was, when I saw it at first, I thought that it was quite bad. And then I looked at it and I ran the sim, and it's actually not as bad as it seems. So he has the best 9-7 he can have here, because I can't have 9-8 of clubs or 8-7 of clubs. And then also, I'm more likely to triple barrel with some of the hands that have a 7 or a 9. So,
wow, that was a $208,000 pot. I mean, that's like 15% of the entire losses that Daniel had in one hand out of 25,000. Number 5, Phil Hellmuth versus Daniel Negreanu in 2021 High Stakes Duel 2. I watched this live. This is a pretty good one. This is the final hand from that matchup, and Phil sets him up great.
Phil.
Yeah.
Hellmuth, a man of few words in this back half of the match. Couple winces, couple smiles, but not Mr. Talkative.
Check.
Well, you try housing chicken enchiladas, a Sour Patch. What else? Fruit and nut medley. And see how chatty you are this deep in. 9-7 deuce with 2 diamonds. Gut shot straight and flush draw for Hellmuth in a limp pot. He checks it over to Daniel, who's got the gutter and backdoor spades. 6K bet and called, and the 8 on the turn gives both players a straight.
Yikes.
This is a disaster.
Well, if Hellmuth was looking for a cooler, here it is.
$30,000.
Raise 30,000.
Obviously, 5-6 far from the nuts. 6-10 and 10 jack beat it.
Yeah, but a lot of bad rivers for Negreanu. Might just want to pile it. Flush draw possible, 10x possible.
10 seconds.
Don't want to let those hands get there.
All in.
Yeah.
All in.
I got a call. I have a 10-eye straight. It's a cooler. I mean, you got the flush draw too. Good game, bud. That was insane. Fucking way to go. Good match. You played great, buddy. You really did. You deserve it.
Pretty sick.
Oh my
It's like a
God.
setup.
I don't know what I'm gonna do there differently. It fucking turned
It had to
to
be an
8.
offsuit 8. Was your
Yeah.
was a bad card for you.
Well,
You played
cold.
great, Daniel.
Thanks, bud.
I think you're one of the.
I thought you
all-time-
actually, no, you deserve
I
this
think you're one of the all-time great.
Thanks,
players.
bud. I appreciate
Okay?
it.
So
Appreciate it.
That's the truth.
No, I really think you played great today.
Thanks.
it isn't over yet,
Man,
Maria.
that's cold.
Daniel can still hit a 10
Oh, wait,
for
10's
a shot.
tie, right?
Yeah. No.
But instead,
Spade.
it is the 3 and the coldest of
Just like
decks
you have me
on
covered,
the
yeah.
end.
Yeah, no, but I thought I.
No, he's got me.
Leave Phil Hellmuth
Okay, he did it. Woo.
with
Good
his
job, Phil.
second
Wow, what a battle.
sweep.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I remember they had kings versus kings in that one. Yeah, great matchup. Classic Phil versus Daniel. Number 4 on the list. This is a classic one. It's probably one of the best of all time. However, it makes only number 4 on here. Chris Moneymaker versus Sammy Farha. Sammy Farha is one of my favorite players of all time, personally. But main event, this is great.
Bluffs Sam Farha out of a big stack of money.
And considering this situation, I know we're early in the century, but that's the bluff of the century. What a play from Chris Moneymaker.
Price of poker is gonna go high now.
I figured it would.
Well, it's 50-50. I almost called you.
I'll turn my head.
Sorry?
You can tell me what you had, I'll turn my head.
No, I don't care. He asked me what I have. I said I had a pair, big pair, and a flush draw. Queen high flush. The queen high flush draw. If I make it. And pair.
A pair?
Queens.
A pair of queens. There wasn't, you have 2 queens in your hand? There wasn't a queen on the board, was there? No, the highest card was a 10.
I had queens in my hand.
You had queens in your hand.
Nice try, Sam. Horseshoe Casino continuing this heads-up battle for the World Championship of Texas Hold'em Poker. Chris Moneymaker with a commanding chip lead right now on Sam Farha. We know how quickly that can change, though. Chris Moneymaker's cards 5 and 4.
In fact, if Sammy can double up, he would take the chip lead, and that's how it is when you're heads up.
Sam Farha looks at a Jack-10 and bets 100,000 to Moneymaker, who quickly calls it.
And Sammy a 2-to-1 favorite right now going into the flop.
And here it comes. It is Jack 5-4, 2 pair for Chris Moneymaker, 1 for Sam Farha.
Yeah, top pair for Sam Farha, but once again, Chris Moneymaker has gotten another fortunate flop.
Chris Moneymaker checks now over to Sam Farha, who throws in a bet of 175,000. He's reaching.
I'm gonna raise.
The raise is 300,000 now. Back to Farha.
Okay, I'll go all in. Let's go.
I'll call.
Sam Farha goes all in, and Chris Moneymaker's going to call it.
One pair for Sam Farha.
And Sam sees the grim news, and with 2 pair, Chris Moneymaker, a statistical improbability to win this title at the outset, is now closing in on making it an incredible reality.
Turn card is an 8 of diamonds.
No help yet, and Farha to stay alive would need a jack, a 10, or an 8, or this is over.
One card away from a new world Chris Moneymaker.
This could be the last card of the 2003 World Series of Poker.
It's a 5.
With a full house, Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farha, and the 27-year-old has stepped out of the virtual poker room.
What an insane victory. And I think that Chris did really good at setting Farha up into that final hand, because the previous hands he had bluffed a lot. He even folded like top pair on the 2 hands before that. Number 3, the man behind the chip in the chair story, Jack Strauss versus Dewey Tomko. Now, Jack Strauss, his nickname was Treetop. He was 6'6", 1982 main event. It's an insane story because Strauss had been down to a single $500 back in the day. They used to represent dollars as the buy-ins. You'd start with 10,000 chips, $10,000 buy-in. He ran that all the way up to a first place finish and won the WSOP. There's not very many videos on this. However, I think that the stories and the legends that come of this, based on what happened, he outplayed Dewey in just what was epic fashion. This is back in the days of like ESPN was kind of filming the footage, and you know, it was a gutsy rivered straight that sealed his miracle story. So it's kind of insane how that kind of ran out and played out for one chip all the way back. So that's why it makes the number 3 spot here on this list. So that was our number 3 ranking on the board. Number 2, we're going to go to WPT 2009 at the Borgata Poker Open. Olivier Basquet versus Jeremy Brown. This is a 20-to-1 chip deficit that turned into one of the greatest WPT titles ever.
On the button. Blinds 200 and 400,000. Very hefty. And he's going to make it 800,000 to go.
2 million straight.
And look at this, 2 million by Jeremy Brown with the 4-deuce offsuit.
Oh, just a Gus Hansen play, a junk hand.
And he's got the chip lead again. He's just trying to apply pressure where the guy will go away. It might work here, because that's a hefty raise when you're just looking at 9-5. But he's going to make the call. So Olivier gambling here with the 9-5 of spade. See if it pays off for him. He's flopped the flush draw. It's come King Jack 7 with 2 spades. And this is what happens when you raise out of position. You're almost committed to fire at this pot, even though you only have a 4-deuce offsuit here.
But he's going to keep this lie going here. He's bet $3 million.
On.
And quickly, whoa, Olivier has gone all in with the flush draw.
Yes, he has. Really quite uncallable at this point, and Jeremy finally has to lay it down.
Well, that's the problem sometimes when you raise with those garbage hands, the 4-deuce offsuit, because now after the flop, you got to commit more chips to the pot. And there's a case.
I mean, these guys are playing 3-bet, 4-bet pots with like 9-5 suited, right? Like, how can you not love this matchup the way that these guys play it?
He looks down at the 9.
Here we go with the first 3, and look at this 3 of a kind for Olivier.
Unbelievable. It's come 4-4-3. He checks the 3-4s. Jeremy has the open-in straight draw.
All in.
Call.
And he goes all in. Well, Olivier's quickly called him, and unfortunately for Jeremy, the ace won't help him.
He's got to be dead. I have a 4.
He must catch a 6. So Olivier well out front there, about an 85% favorite to win this pot.
3-4 ace. 3-4 ace. Come on. 3-4 ace. 5.
Olivier Basquet has come back from 19-1 difference in chips in this final heads-up action. Has it all on the line right now.
A 6 is the only card on the turn that'll give Jeremy the lead. He could catch 2 running spades.
Oh, that's 1 of spade.
Well, there's one of them. Any spade but the 3 of spade will now win the pot for Jeremy, as well as a 6.
The crowd on their feet, as is Jeremy. He needs some luck.
Hold.
Can this be it?
Well, Olivier knows he's 1 card away from winning this title, and a 5 comes up. He's done it. He's going to win the pot with 3 4s. Olivier has made the greatest comeback in the history of the World Poker Tour, playing heads up. That's amazing.
He goes over to his friends, hugs for all.
Well, boys, let's cheers to that one.
As Jeremy meets the Blue Boys.
That was probably one of the greatest heads-up battles, if you ever watched it, but I mean, it's nothing compared to number 1, which I think if you're a true poker fan, you should know what number 1 is here. I'm going to go back through the list. Let's get a recap on what we did. Number 10, the 1988 main event with Johnny Chan versus Eric Seidel. And then we have Vanessa Selbst versus Igor Kurganov in the PCA High Roller. Great for the women. Phil Ivey versus Marcel Luske. Number 8. Number 7, Phil Galfond versus Vinny Vitti 1993 in the heads-up battle. Doug Polk versus Daniel Negreanu over 25,000 hands. How could you not love that? Phil Hellmuth versus Daniel Negreanu, number 5. Instant classic Moneymaker, started the Moneymaker boom, you know. Jack Strauss Treetop versus Dewey Tomko in the 1982. Olivier Basquet versus Jeremy Brown. And finally, what you've all been waiting for, the number 1 ranking. It is quintessential to all poker players to watch this heads-up match. John Sin versus Tony Miles, 2018 WSOP main event. Over 199 hands were played, over 10 hours.
Really good call here. Yep.
It's a pretty good sized pre-flop pot.
You know, it's interesting these days. You just don't see it as much.
This is a little bit of a sped up version, but there was way more time that was taken during this hand.
Just consider just moving in if you feel some weakness rather than call, and just win it risk-free. I'm not saying that. Wow.
Flop
really
John Sin with King Jack. 2 hearts in there for Miles, if he cares about them.
Here comes Miles. He's going to bet 33 million. There it is. I said 32. It's 32.
All right, you said 33.
Dang it.
Which is a great guess.
I thought he
It's
said 34.
No,
Dang it.
He said 33. He was close.
Okay, I like the fact that he took his time with that call. And
Look at the pot.
Miles knows that he called a big bet before with ace-9 of spades. Remember that?
Yeah.
The last time he went crazy bluffing.
1/3 of the chips on the table in play in the middle of the pot right now.
Oh, brutal, brutal card.
And now Miles hits his 8.
Oh, that's the last card in the deck that Miles.
All
Tournament's
in.
over. Tournament is over.
Johnson just has to say call.
Count, please.
Now, the reason for no snap call, I think that Johnson is weighing, you know, does Tony actually have ace king or king queen here?
Calling this all in.
He's never folding. I don't understand.
I don't think I can fold.
Man, he's going to take some of the professional poker players are going, what is taking so long?
I guess you just have to
The pros are saying, you're wasting a minute of my life.
113.5.
Johnson was so close 2 years ago.
Promise, I am not slow rolling you. I just really don't know. It's late.
That's right. That's right. We
It's
don't
a
have
big
problem.
decision.
Yep.
I don't have ace king.
It's almost all of his chips, obviously. If he called here and lost, he'd be down to less than 10 big blinds.
I'm just saying the professionals would think it's a slow roll.
Oh, I
Am I
understand.
allowed to talk about my hand?
Yeah, because he's all in.
Okay.
You just can't answer.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to get a read or anything. I don't think I can fold. Because I was just gonna say I didn't call with ace king or king queen, but I did call
at this
with.
point, he can't open the action.
Yeah.
So yes, you can discuss his hand. He just cannot answer any questions from you.
But I did call with king jack pre-flop. And I'm wondering if it was a mistake.
Tony Miles knows.
Miles is sick. He's sick to his
I can't
stomach.
fold.
He knows he's getting called, and he knows he just lost the World Series of Poker, bluffing it off with the old Queen 8. Pretty unlucky turn card, but he knows it's over.
That's the call, and that is the tournament. John Sin can now call himself main event champion. One bluff too many for Tony Miles.
I don't think those guys ever made a deal. I think that is just, you know, I don't think it's a slow roll. So which is kind of what I'm trying to say here is, like, I don't think they made a deal, which plays into that they're actually playing for a big pay jump. So definitely not a slow roll. I think that it's just the fact that John did not want to. He didn't want to lose all of his chips in that spot, knowing that there's possibility of pocket fives, pocket eights, seriously, like ace, king, king, queen, you know. How often does he bluff with king 8 and turn the boat? Like, there's just a few hands that, like, he has to consider there. I think once you know that you're not at risk of losing the tournament and you have 10 big blinds left, I think it should be more of a snap call, but he definitely weighed his options. Those are more of like nit rolls rather than slow rolls. That's the difference there. And once you think about it, a little bit too much time had passed, but he wanted to make sure that he was making the right decision. So, given that, that's our top 10 list of the greatest heads-up matches of all time. Tell me how you think I did in the comments. If you think any of these rankings should be changed, like, you know, and why. Tell me why. Like, some of these matchups were freaking amazing, but if you think that one deserves a spot higher, or freaking John Sen versus Tony Miles is not first place, you know, put it down in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'm trying to push a little bit more followers so I can get this channel up and running. We got the table fixed, so next week we'll have another matchup with a great poker player in the studio. You guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. Let me know how we did.